Tonight, our special transmission as Canada faces backlash for its indirect role in a $61 million arms deal between the US and Israel. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. Today is the 321st day since Israel started its indiscriminate attacks against Palestinians. Israeli operations are targeting Gaza's most crowded regions. In the past 24 hours, Israel has killed at least 52 Palestinians. Israeli attacks have targeted multiple locations, including a Gaza city school and a busy market in Deir al-Balah. Areas like Jabalia, Rafah, and Khan Yunis have also been hit. There are reports of significant casualties in these areas. Residents of Deir al-Balah are fleeing their homes after evacuation orders. An Israeli newspaper reports that the 6 Israeli captives likely died from a gas leak in a tunnel in Khan Yunis. The leak occurred during an Israeli attack. The bodies were discovered yesterday from Gaza. Israeli attacks on the eastern Bekaa Valley in Lebanon have killed at least 1 civilian. 20 have been injured. At least 41,223 Palestinians have been killed since the onset of war. 92,981 have been injured. A report in the British medical journal The Lancet estimates the death toll from Israel's war could exceed 186,000. Israel faces accusations of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The top court has ordered Israel to immediately halt its operations. Israeli airstrikes on al-Shati camp in Gaza have killed several aides of the late leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh. The attack occurred near Haniyeh's residence. It resulted in the deaths of 9 individuals, including 6 of Haniyeh's closest assistants. Abdul Salam Haniyeh, the son of Ismail Haniyeh, has confirmed the casualties. Hamas has rejected the latest ceasefire proposal. The militant group calls the new proposal a deviation from President Biden's plan announced in May. Hamas had previously agreed to a ceasefire framework proposed on July 2nd. The group says the additional terms from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu are unacceptable. It says the new proposal is a reversal and a bid to buy time for continuing aggression in Gaza. Hamas says it will commit to negotiations only within the framework of the previous plan. Hamas is accusing the U.S. of complicity. The group says the recent comments by the U.S. officials have misled the public and hindered peace efforts. Israeli media reports the United States is intensifying its push for Egypt to deploy troops to the Gaza Strip once the war concludes. Egypt remains hesitant despite the pressure. An unnamed Egyptian official says Egypt will only consider troop deployment after a comprehensive ceasefire agreement is reached and Israel commits to resolving the Palestinian issue. In recent months, several Arab nations, led by Egypt, have proposed a plan to the U.S. for post-war Gaza. The plan includes potential troop deployment if a two-state solution is agreed upon, encompassing both Gaza and the West Bank. President Joe Biden has acknowledged the grievances of anti-Israel protesters at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. In his keynote address, Biden said the protesters have a point. His comments came when the protests outside the United Center turned chaotic. The demonstrators clashed with police. Several protesters were arrested. Inside the arena, protesters displayed a banner, "Stop Arming Israel." Despite disruptions, Biden continued his speech. He said his administration is trying to broker a peace deal and secure humanitarian aid for Gaza. The Democratic National Convention continues in Chicago through Thursday. The convention features discussions on U.S. foreign policy and security. Canada is facing backlash for its indirect role in a $61 million arms deal between the US and Israel. Recently, Canada had vowed to halt new arms exports to Israel following mass protests. It, however, remained silent on a deal between the US and Quebec-based General Dynamics Ordnance and Tactical Systems Incorporated. The deal will send tens of thousands of mortar cartridges to Israel starting in 2026. Critics argue that Canada's inaction on existing permits and indirect transfers undermines its commitment to human rights. It says this inaction equates to complicity in war crimes. Advocacy groups and political figures are calling on the government to prevent any involvement in the Gaza conflict. Canada's silence has drawn sharp criticism for prioritizing public relations over effective action. Michael Buchert from the advocacy group Canadians for Justice and Peace in the Middle East says the Canadian government has a responsibility to stop the shipment. Canada is a signatory of the Arms Trade Treaty. It is a pact by the United Nations which bans arms transfers if they are being used in a genocide. Amnesty International is calling for an independent investigation into the use of extensive force by the German police at a Free Palestine demonstration. The demonstration took place in Berlin last weekend. Video shared on social media depicts shocking scenes of police aggression. A female protester is seen violently tackled by police. The footage also shows a minor being punched and another woman being choked. Germany has banned pro-Palestinian protests. Despite this, such demonstrations continue. They are supported by diverse communities, including Arab, Turkish, and Jewish groups. Amnesty's German office has expressed deep concern over the excessive use of force. It is urging for an investigation into the incident. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a non-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.